Once again, Goblins are in another series for Fall of Anime 2018. Is this Goblin season? Like, seriously. Like, honestly, every single fantasy series from this season pretty much has goblins in it. I mean, let's think about this. Goblin Slayer, Slime, SAO. I mean, what's going on here? Like, there's so many goblins, so many depictions of goblins. I mean, we have friendly goblins in Slime. We have, very, very awful and horrific goblins in Goblin Slayer. And then it seems like we have kind of slightly intelligent but also horrible goblins in SAO. So, just like, what's going on here? Why is there so many goblins? I mean, yes, I know they're a standard fantasy creature. I know this, okay? It's weird how literally Goblin Slayer comes out the same season as these two other series that have premises that start off with goblins being very relevant. It's interesting to me. But okay. Episode 3 of SAO Season 3 continues to impress me a lot. Once again, another amazing adaptation of the light novel. They have done a fantastic job of really proving that they care about Sword Art Online Season 3, or at the very least this arc of Sword Art Online. One of the big things about this episode that I think everybody needs to take note of is that System Call is a thing. Now, at first glance, when System Call is mentioned in this episode, I think if you have been very aware of how SAO works, like the games, the VR games and stuff, or just how games in general work, you're going to kind of understand what System Call means in this episode. And I will give clarification, do not worry. But basically, when System Call is activated by Yu-Gi-Oh!, he explains that he has no idea what it really is. He just says it. That's like basically magic to them. Like, for instance, if someone was to, let's say, create fire, and someone was to bust fire out of their hand, and they say, like, this is magic, be like, okay, yeah, we don't understand the principle behind it, how they're able to do it, but it is magic. It's something supernatural. And that's kind of what's happening here, is that System Call is basically another word for magic in this universe. And that's how they view it. How the people, the citizens in this world view magic, they just call it System Call. Now, obviously, Kirito, which comes from another world, he knows that System Call is actually just something related to programming, something that could be like a command. And that's kind of what was being referenced here, is that System Call is actually in turn just like a command you would put inside of a game. For instance, let's talk about Skyrim, okay, or Elder Scrolls series in general, or Fallout, whatever. You know when you're, let's say, playing PC or anything, and you're typing in commands and all that to, like, let's say, spawn in a dragon, or spawn in a certain item, whatever. You have to type in commands. If you've ever played Left 4 Dead or anything like that, you also have to do these certain type of commands. It's very similar to that. System Call is basically a command, like a command board that you have inside of a game that's like a cheat engine. You could summon anything you want or do anything you want, and that's what's happening here. It's basically, this world is run off of knowing the system. For instance, these certain commands. And obviously, since they don't really know about these commands and all that, it's like magic to them, you can understand why many would probably serve a lot of time and spend a lot of time trying to figure out what command does what, or trying to figure out what these sacred arts really are. So that's the big point here, is that system commands are legit a part of this series. It's not just like something that's just magic, but it can be explained because of the elements within a program to spawn things in. And so you can kind of see here, if you kind of put A and B together, how many could potentially get powerful or kind of, do certain things that wouldn't be normal in this world if they knew certain commands, if they knew what to write in. And since Kirito, if you know about his character, he's really intelligent, he knows about technology and all sorts of things, then he might be able to figure something out. But okay, stopping there because I don't want to get into spoiler territory, I don't want to go any further than that. Let's talk about the sword that Kirito got in his hands. Now, we know how Yu-Gi-Oh got the sword. When, Kirito was a kid or younger in this game for some reason, he was able to go back and he was able to find that sword with Yu-Gi-Oh and Alice. And then, as we know, Alice got taken away. It is stated that Yu-Gi-Oh had to drag that sword for 3 months straight just to get it to where it's at right now. And that's incredible, honestly. But the point here is that when Kirito was looking at the sword, when he did the S, the command system call and all that, and he was looking at it, he realized that its authority level was a lot higher than his own. Now, you can kind of already understand this if you have a basic comprehension of what level system is, or games, or whatever, and since this is most likely in a VR universe, you know that basically a 40 might be his level, or be a stat. For instance, let's say you're playing Diablo, or you're playing, any type of game, Fallout, whatever, there might be certain weapons, armor, whatever, that you need to be a certain skill level, or you need to have a certain stat, like let's say 35 in strength, just to be able to wield something. And so in this case, you could kind of assume that a 40 is a stat, and if your 40 isn't high enough, then you're not going to be able to wield this sword, which would explain why it's so heavy to them. It's like you cannot wield this item, you cannot hold this item. That's kind of the equivalent of what this episode was trying to say, to kind of give clarity to what was going on there with the sword, the authority, what Kirito was trying to say. Now, anyways, we also need to talk about how this Taboo Index is, and also what it has to do with the so-called artificial intelligence, these AI. Now, it's already been established with the last episode that majority of the people we have come in contact with apparently are actually AI. And the Taboo Index that was, once again established in this episode, Kirito was questioning what was the whole purpose of it. Was it there to restrict the AI? He even talked about that in this episode. But that's the thing, though. If you're trying to do a test thing here, why would you restrict AI? What's the whole purpose of this? But then also when an AI decides to go against something, or, they go against the Taboo Index, what really happens, and why does this have to happen like it does? It's a big question that pops up, and that's kind of what's being set up within this episode. Like, okay, so why did Alice do what she did? Why did she go so far? And, is she the only one? Do they do something special? And why is her sister also doing the exact same thing, wanting to go to the mountains, the End Mountains or whatever? Well, why is that? Now, also, we do need to take note of that goblins are apparently within the ice cave, which Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh! Visited when they were younger. Now, the question is why aren't these goblins being handled? We already know in the first episode that an Integrity Knight was actually fighting up against like a Dark Knight. They were fighting against each other, and if you go into that territory, obviously you'll break the Taboo Index, and then they'll come back and they'll take you back, and then, apparently they'll execute you or something. But that's the question, though. Like, why is Goblins able to walk into this territory? Why are they not being handled? Why isn't an Integrity Knight going out of their way to stop these goblins? Why are they able to roam free like they are? What's the big thing going on here? There has to be more here, because isn't that their job to make sure something like that does not happen? Now, another thing, too, is what's going to happen to the girl that is the younger sister of Alice if she gets dragged into the dark territory? Think about it like this. Right now, she's captured by goblins. And if they were to somehow grab her and take her across the, into the dark world and all that, what would happen? Like, if she went into the Darkland against her will, would she still technically be breaking the Taboo Index? Or can she be saved? Will she be okay? That's a big question you could think about because of this episode, because how far does this Taboo Index go? But also, you can notice multiple times throughout the episode that Kirito, he constantly is trying to say certain things to kind of go around the Taboo Index. Like he says to Yu-Gi-Oh, does it say anywhere in the Taboo Index that you can't use a sword to cut down this tree? And all that? And he's like, I guess not really, it's not like that. Which basically means that he could, in theory, work around certain rules or stipulations that the Taboo Index has, as long as if he doesn't just downright break them. That's the big point here. So yeah, I think overall, in terms of presentation of SAO Season 3, they're doing a fantastic job. I think they couldn't honestly do a better job than they're already doing. I mean, oh my god, the animation and art of Yu-Gi-Oh! Swinging the sword was probably one of the best moments of the episode, and just in art alone. Like, oh my god, that was beautiful. I was blown away by how good that was. I was like, whoa. Like, whoa! SAO, it's honestly movie quality. It really is. Like, this really reminds me of, like, what you would see from a movie in terms of just art and animation. I really hope they can keep this up throughout, like, the 30-plus episodes that this series is going to be airing. It's going to be airing pretty much for, like, a year long. It's crazy to think how long SAO Season 3 is going to be lasting. And if they can keep this quality up, oh my god, like, seriously, it's going to kind of be hard to top this series if they continue to do the development like they're doing, giving characterization and all that, like, yo, I think this might rekindle the passion for SAO that many lost after Season 1. But yeah, to make a a long story short, though, it's a really good episode. I still am really happy with this adaptation, and I just hope they keep it up. And so I want to end it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Be honest in the comments below. I'm very curious. If you like my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.